looks like the mixed veggies that you get in the frozen section, the peas and green beans. I know, I'm nuts. Hello, sweet friends. It's Sarah at Crochet.With.Coffee, and thank you so much for joining me for another Monday chat. This is my mug for today. This one was given to me by my daughter this past Christmas. She always knows how to grab the cutest mugs, so love it. Little green flowers. So cute. So, what do we have to talk about today? So I have some progress on different projects that I have been working on, and I have 2 finished items that I'm going to share with you. And I also want to share with you a bunch of Lacy squares and Lacy blanket patterns. So when I was talking about the wedding blanket that I need to get done for a couple that's getting married next month, you guys sent me so many great suggestions on Lacy squares and Lacy blanket patterns. I had someone ask if I could share all those. So I am going to present all of those today so you guys can see those. That will be later on in this episode, but I'm going to start off with the progress of all of the items that I need to get completed because I have so many whips going on right now. So I have been determined to get those done before I start anything else. And so far, I have been good on staying on track. So, what have I completed this week? So, I have completed my mom's sweater, which I can't show you on here because she does watch my episodes and I can't give that away yet. So, I will make sure that you guys see that after she receives that, but I will show you the pattern that I used. So it is the town sweater. It's worked from the bottom up, and it has some really nice ribbing on the cuffs and the waist and the neck here. So the difference that I did with this one is I took the neck here, and I actually only did half of the height with that. So it is a tiny bit shorter of a collar. And then with the sleeves, you can see that. With the sleeves, I did them about half the length, and I also tapered it in because you can see, like on this back thing here, you can see that it is a long open cuff, and I wanted it to be more of a tapered, like something like that. So I adjusted it that way and just tapered the sleeve and made a cuff instead of that long end of the sleeve. And then I also did the ribbing on the bottom about half the length that it said to do. So I adjusted it a little bit, but it was very simple. It was a really good first knit item to do to follow a pattern. So that one was a lot of fun. But it took me forever to do because I am used to crochet, and that took me so long to do when I could have finished a sweater the same size and everything in crochet within a couple days. This one took weeks, and I am a slow knitter. It was a fun adventure. I'm glad that I got my first one done, and I think it went well for the most part. And then once I have that sent to my mom, I still have to block it before I can send it to her. But when she receives it, then I'll show you more of that. So the other finished item that I have is this bag. So if you guys were around for the last few weeks, you know that this one has been a frustration for me because my sewing machine ate it, and I had to redo all the squares. I had to redo all the filming. I filmed portions of this about 3 times. It was not fun. So this bag has a lining in it, and it is sewn in, and I show you how to cut the fabric for it and how to lay out and how to build the squares for it. This is made with all-in-one granny square yarn, but you could use whatever yarn you want. You could do all solid colors. You don't need to do color changing if you don't want to. and you don't need to change rows if you want to just make this in solid colors. And then on the sides, we also used the all-in-one granny square yarn from the same skein. This is all made from one skein of the all-in-one granny square yarn. But then you can see the side is worked up with single crochets, so it's like a stripe all the way around. And this is lined as well. The reason we lined this was for a couple reasons. The granny squares have those holes in it, and little things can sneak through them if you use it as a purse, and I wanted to avoid that. And then I also wanted to make sure that the bag was not stretchy. So with a lining, the bag doesn't stretch, and that's really nice because if you've used a granny square or a crocheted bag before, it will stretch and it gets all misshapen and everything. If you do cotton, a lot of the time it will hold its shape better than acrylic yarn will, but you always get some type of stretch. So it does still have the seams here, but it's not enough to like make a difference with the structure of it being secure and holding up with not stretching. But that's just where we seamed it up in the way that we seamed it up to make it really simple sewing. That's why we did it that way. But then just to give you an example like of the stretchiness of it, if I just grab the granny squares in here and I stretch the granny squares, you can see how stretchy that can be. And with holding the lining in there, it doesn't go anywhere. So, or not much of anywhere. So anyway, that is what we just finished on Friday. You can go check that out if you're interested in the pattern for that. It is a longer tutorial, but it is very simple to do it. We just go over a lot of the details as far as making the squares and very step-by-step instructions, but it is a simple thing to make. So I would categorize it as beginner friendly. So now what do we have? Okay, so we have our crochet along. What I'm going to be doing is a crochet along that is a blanket. So it's going to be part of the Awkward Granny Blanket series of blankets. So it has some different shapes and sizes of granny squares, rectangles, you know, different things like that within the blanket, and they're just pieced together in a way that, you know, they all fit together to form a blanket. But we have some different sizes, colors, and shapes for this, and it is called the Winter to Spring blanket. So it's going to be the Awkward Granny Blanket Winter to Spring edition. The reason we're doing that is because the crochet along is going to carry over from winter into spring. It's going to be a 6-week long crochet along, so you'll get bits and pieces each week. So you'll get one step for the first week, the second step for the second week, and so on. And that is going to be over a 6-week period. I do not have the exact release date of when we're going to be doing that because I still have to finalize the editing to make sure that I can fit it within those days. So a date for the start of that will come out shortly, but I still have some recording and editing to do before I can give a final date of when that's starting. Now, what else am I working on? So I also have this bed runner that we're going to be working on. This is going to be another pattern, and I'm going to be having sizes from a twin size bed up to a king size. This square started because of a square that we made for our Weird Whip Wednesday where we covered a purse in granny squares, and the center of one of the squares made me really want to make a blanket out of that, and I had a suggestion that said, why don't you do a bed runner? So I'm going to be making a bed runner. It's less squares. It's still, you know, you can lay it out on your bed. It's still decorative. It's gorgeous. I love it. And less squares to make than a blanket for that size of a bed anyways. I mean, if you want to use this square and the colors for your own throw, you can make it whatever you want. So these are the squares that I have for this one. So we're using, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, in a few different colors here. And so everything is the same color, where I've got a tan and ivory. This is the, let's see if I can change this here. This is the Citrus Punch. This one is terracotta, and this is a coffee color. So we have that one going on. And the really cool thing about this Citrus Punch is it changes color. So you can see this is more on the yellowy side. This is getting into the green more. This one's really green. So it changes. I love this yarn. I think it is probably my favorite color of the I Love This yarn, because it has all my favorites in it, like very, very autumn shades. But then I was making this one. You see the colors in this one? And you know what it reminded me of? I was using it and I'm thinking, you know what this color is? It's got the dark greens, yellow, orange, all that. It looks like the mixed veggies that you get in the frozen section, the peas and green beans and corn. That's what that color reminds me of when it comes around to that mixture of colors. For some reason, I thought that was really funny. This one is a good example of it too. Can you see all the yellows in there? So yeah, that one I thought was funny. But yeah, so so far I've got 16 full squares done. I've done all the centers. I'm making a king, but I will also have all the other sizes listed in the tutorial for you. But we're doing that one now. And along with that, what else do I have? So the other thing that I have to share with you, I'm going to share in just a second. The other crocheted thing that I'm doing, I'm going to share with you in just a second. But I need to detour real quick because I got some stuff from Amazon and I want to show you. So this one is a book, and it just looks so pretty. Like, this one really caught my eye. And this is made up of like a bunch of sample crochet patterns, and you put it together and you change colors and all kinds of things. Let me show you a little bit in here. I can't show you the pattern because that's part of the book. I will have this in my Amazon storefront. I have that linked in the description if you want to check it out. Let me see. Let me find, there was one specific one I wanted to show you. It was a combination. Oh, this one. So look at these colors. Is that cool or what? Look at all those different patterns in there. And look at like the ribbing on the ends. I love that one. And I really like those colors because that color reminds me a lot of the Hobby Lobby yarn. The yarn bee that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorites. This one, the green apple. It's like a Grinchy green. I love the Grinch. Yeah, that is such a pretty color, and it reminds me of that. I guess this one looks a little bit more yellowy, which I'm all for a more yellowy green, but this is always the closest one that I can find to the ones I really love, of like the brightish green. Because, let me show you, because I have a lot of Big Twist. I'll show you the closest one in Big Twist. There's actually two that are kind of, three. I'll show you three different ones. Okay, so these are the three of the greens in the Big Twist, and this is you see how that one has more of like a brownish tone? Can you see it? It's got a little bit more of a brownie tone to it. And it just makes me think of the Grinch. Like, originally I would say this one is the Grinch, but then when you put this one, I'm like, that's more Grinchy because he's like more of a brownish. But then I've got the names for this one. This is Forest Green, which I think Forest Green isn't like, Isn't forest green more of like a bluish green? That's what I always think of forest green as. This one's slime. And this one is called light green. So yeah, and then the green apple. So this is my favorite. And every time I've tried to use this one instead, it makes me sad because I want this one. I love it. Oh, and I use this one for a blanket I have here. This was by Little Dove Crochet. She has so many gorgeous color combinations. You should go check her out on, she's on here, she's on YouTube. She's also on Instagram. I follow her stuff on Instagram. I love. But one of my favorite blankets I've made, and I have it in here on my chair and I use it every day. But I love those color combinations. And that's how I found this green, because I was searching for something that matched the colors that she had. So all of these are big twist except for the green. And I think that the cream that's a Karen Pound skein, that cream color. So love that. It's one of my favorites. Or really, it is my favorite one. Okay, now that I caused chaos with all my yarn everywhere, all right, so another thing I found on Amazon are these crochet hooks. I always love a new crochet hook. I haven't used these yet because I wanted to show you them before I got them connected to a project and I couldn't round them all up again. All right, so I know that I talked to you guys about I think it was my tote bag that I'm making. And that one asked for a 7mm hook. I changed the yarn weight for it, so I went with a smaller hook, but I realized I don't have any 7mm hooks. So I got this one, and it was the same price to get one hook as it was to get 3, so I got 3. And so I have a 5, 6, and 7mm. Those colors are so cool. And I love wooden or bamboo handles, and I feel like this one is really nice, and it'll feel nice in my hand as I work. But I really like that. I thought it was nice. So I have that one, and then this next one, you'll know why I had to get it, because it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. All right, this is a metal hook and like a plastic handle, 5.5mm. Look at those colors, and it's orange, and it's got that shiny, like iridescent look to it. Is that pretty or what? It is an inline hook, and I typically go with tapered hooks, or like this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the difference. This is a tapered hook. You see how it is, thin all the way through there, and then you see that it's a softer hook on the end and a softer tip on the top, like that, in comparison to this, get you in the camera. See how the end of the hook is a little bit, if I can get it to focus, sharper on the bottom and rounded on the top there, and then how it is straight instead of tapered. So this is an inline hook, and this is a tapered hook. I don't typically use inline hooks just because I feel like the sharp point on the hook splits my yarn more than I feel like it should. That's why I typically go with the tapered. But this handle was just too pretty to not get. And the orange, love it. So I got this, and I haven't tried it out yet. I will let you know how I feel about it, but it feels nice in your hand. It's nice and thick on the handle part. So I like that when it's thicker on the handle. So, and that one came in this really cute box. that nice? It's the brand. I'll put this in the storefront too in case you want to look it out, check it out, and they have different sizes. So that was my fun for that. Yeah, I did some Amazon shopping and that's what I got. So first off, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy because the blanket I was making for the wedding gift, I have decided to restart again. I know, I'm nuts, indecisive, can't make up my mind, ridiculous, but I have a good reason for it, okay? I promise, I have a good reason. So, I was using the reverse V-stitch for the blanket, and you know, you guys heard my rant on feeling like it was boring and it wasn't, you know, thrilling to make, didn't get me excited to go work on it. And then I found something. I found this. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my goodness. So this one is from Annie's Attic. And I scroll through, I see stuff on Instagram all the time. My cat's playing the piano. Can you hear that? She wants in the room. The piano's open. She likes to play it. So I am making this blanket. You know, it didn't occur to me. I can use neutral colors in different shades. Why is that hard? Why did I not think of that in the first place? So I decided to go with the gray that I was using before. Is that square not gorgeous? And then I added this dark gray. This isn't a completed square, but I added that dark gray to it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And it makes me excited to work on it, which is exactly what we need for a blanket that is a little bit on the bland color side. You need excitement to work on something. Otherwise it becomes a chore, and crochet is supposed to be fun, not a chore. It is our time to relax, our time to unwind, our time to have fun, and having it be a chore is a no-go. So we're not doing that. So I had to make it fun. And this one, for some reason, it clicked and it worked. And I think it's because I have two shades of a neutral that give it a lot of character. And I am thrilled that I found this. This will be linked in the description along with the rest of the patterns that I share with you. So I'm going to be putting shout outs on the screen. So if you shared these patterns, I'm going to put your name up on the screen because a horrible nightmare of mine is to mispronounce and really just not be able to pronounce a name because I'm not good at it for normal words. I don't want to say your name wrong. So I'm going to put it on the screen so I do not mispronounce it. But just so you guys know, that is what I'm going to be putting up on the screen under who suggested it. And then all of these patterns and links will be in the description so you can go visit those. I'll put them in the same order so that you guys can go check those out. And we are going to start off with a lovely Lacy pattern, and this is by Bag O' Day Crochet. She is wonderful. If you have not checked out any of her tutorials before, she has a bunch. She has blankets. Does she have blankets? She has stitches you can use for blankets. She has shawls. She has hats. She has baby clothes, kids clothes, cardigans, a ton of things. So go check her out. She's amazing. Crystal over at Bag O' Day, she's so sweet. One of my favorite channels. So we have her Paris stitch. This is such a pretty stitch. She uses a really pretty peach ombre color in this pattern, and I really like the delicate looking stitch, and she makes everything so easy, and she's very easy to learn from. So I definitely recommend Bag O' Day. Now for our next suggestion, the channel Bonnie Bay Crochet was suggested, and I had to just scroll through some of her stuff, and I want to show you some of the things on her channel because I came across this one blanket that is a crochet cappuccino throw, and I feel like that has to go on my list of wants because coffee, it's adorable. It's a mug with like steam coming up, and the steam has like a textured like stitches through the steam. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. So I just scrolled through here and just saw some really cute designs. She's got blankets, all kinds of stuff. What else does she have? Looks like she has a cape, more blankets, and some shawls, a poncho, things like that. So go check her out. It is Bonnie Bay Crochet, linked in the description. And then I had a suggestion for a sampler stitch blanket. The one that was suggested was a baby size blanket, but then you could add more squares or more stitches to make it a full size blanket. And I thought that was a great idea because there are some here, like this one from the Crochet Crowd. It's Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. And this is a crocheted baby blanket, but it is using sample stitches. So each square is a different sample stitch, and then those are all pieced together. And it is so cute, and that would be really pretty in just one solid color, or if you want to mix up the colors like in the picture, that is absolutely gorgeous. Now the next sample blanket by Play Hooky With Me is so pretty, and I need to put this on my list of things I want to make as well, because I have scraps building up. I might need to do something with them somewhat soon. But I've always wanted to make a sampler stitch blanket, whereas like each row is a different stitch. And I love that idea. So this one is super gorgeous, super, super cute, and makes me want to make it and use all my scraps for that. Now the next one is by M at Mimi Makes. Mima Makes? So, see, I can't pronounce anything. And she has a stunning sampler blanket, and I love the colors that she's chosen with the gray outline. These squares look so intricate, but I know she probably, most likely, makes it very easy to learn these stitches and these squares. I have seen some of her patterns and tutorials before. They're wonderful. I follow her on Instagram, and I love everything that she posts too. She's awesome. Now we have another one from the Crochet Crowd, and this is another sampler blanket, and this has squares and stripes or rows within it with a nice border around it. And that one is really cute too. Very neutral colors with the picture that is shown. It looks like there's 3 or 4 colors in here. A gray, tan, and a brown. Beige, is that? Whatever that is. But that is really pretty too, and I really like those neutral colors. So this next one is by Olga, and again, I have to pronounce something that I can't. So is it Poltava? Olga Poltava, maybe? Forgive me again, but going through here, it was suggested to use these patterns for the scarves that she has and make them full-size blankets instead of just a scarf. And she has, I think it was like almost 150 scarf tutorials on her channel, and I scrolled through a few of them here for you so you can check them out. But go visit if you want, go visit her channel if you want to check out some more of her patterns. And while I was on her page, I came across these beautiful Lacy motifs, and they are so pretty. I think a lot of them she uses as like a table runner or a tablecloth or something like that. But with thicker yarn, you could use this as a blanket as well. The only downside is there's a lot of holes because it is supposed to be very lacy and be more of a table decoration or a doily type thing. So beautiful, beautiful designs. now I have this beautiful eclipse square. It's so pretty, and I think that this one is beautiful in the colors, but it was suggested to do it in a solid. So I think either way it would be gorgeous, but the playlist for that one is in the description for you. So along with that eclipse square, I was scrolling through other tutorials, and this creator, Jane, what is her name? The creator's name is JSP Create. And so Jane has some beautiful squares on here. Always Learning also suggested a willow burst square, and this is by Crochet.With.Coffee. So Crochet.With.Coffee, if you see this, we should be friends, because Crochet.With.Coffee, Crochet.Coffee, it would just work, right? So this square is absolutely gorgeous. It is so pretty. The colors that are on this picture are a cream and like a sage green and a brownish color, and it would also work very well with all one color. I think it would be really pretty as one solid color, or like a neutral color. So gorgeous. Thank you so much for sharing those. Now, the last group of squares that I have to share were emailed to me by my friend over at the Fabulous Empty Nest, Angie, and she sent me a few different squares. And if you haven't followed Angie yet, or you haven't subscribed to her channel or checked her out, you should go check her out. She's super sweet. I love the things that she is sharing. Right now she's doing a series on making AI images of crochet into real life crochet. So go check that out, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and the stuff that she has made so far is really cool. And you know, we are just overwhelmed with the amount of AI images in crochet, and it's really discouraging, because you see something so cool and then find out that the pattern either doesn't exist, or it's a fake pattern, or somebody's selling something that isn't real or a real pattern. So Angie is giving herself this challenge of remaking items that are very clearly AI and making them real. So love that. I'm so excited that she is jumping on that, and I can't wait to see everything that she does. But she did send me real squares that are patterns here. So this first one is from Instagram, and it is Mel's Homemade Craft. And this one is a link to her Instagram post, and you can scroll through the pictures, and it just gives a step-by-step picture of each step. I don't know if she has written information in there. I forgot to see if she wrote out the instructions on that, but she does have the post that you can go check out the progress of that square. Very cute. I absolutely love it. And then we have the second one is a vintage crochet laced flower square. So this is a free written pattern on her blog, and that is by Annie Design Crochet, a vintage lace square. So I have that linked in the description as well. This one looks very simple, very elegant and pretty. So looks like it would be easy, but looks like it would be on the more difficult side. Very, very pretty. Now the last one that Angie suggested is by The Nightly Needle. This is an Etsy pattern, and it is a paid pattern, but it is the Crochet Beach Cruiser Granny Square pattern. It's a lace design. So super sweet. I really like that one too. I think, again, that one is very simple, but it looks very elegant and lacy and delicate. So I love all of those things. Thank you so much, you guys, for sharing all of those, because I always love seeing what you guys come across, and I can't see everything that is on social media or is in Ravelry or Etsy or on YouTube. So I always love when you guys share new creators with me, new designs, all of that. It is so much fun to experience new creators and new designs. So thank you for sending me that. Now, before we go, I do have a shout out for a new coffee buddy. So we have Bonnie. Bonnie, thank you so much for becoming a coffee buddy. It is so nice to have you, and I'm so thankful for you giving the channel extra love through becoming a coffee buddy. That is such a blessing, and thank you so much for that. And I also want to thank VW Daisy. Thank you so much for becoming a coffee buddy. It's so nice to have you, and thank you so much for giving the channel a little extra love. I appreciate it so very much. So if you're unfamiliar with Coffee Buddy, it is a membership that I have on Crochet with Coffee. You get a shout out and you get little badge next to your name. That's a little cute coffee mug, and you also get emojis that you can use in the chats and in the comments. So you can feel free to access those when you become a coffee buddy. So along with a coffee buddy, I recently opened a Buy Me Coffee account, and I posted that in the description of some of my recent videos, and I got notifications that I was gifted coffee. So I wanted to share that with you guys and just give some shout outs for the coffee gifts that I was given, and I appreciate that so much. I'm thinking through ideas of what I want to call that, like today's hug in a mug, or today's I don't know, cozy cup or something. If you have fun ideas that you can think of as far as what we should call that, I'd love to hear those. That would be a lot of fun to hear your suggestions of what you think I should call the buy a cup of coffee shout outs for people. So the first one that I got was from my friend over at the Fabulous Empty Nest, Angie. She is super sweet, and she said, "Good morning, Sarah. Have a coffee on me. Since I can't have one, I figured someone should enjoy." So Angie, thank you so much. As you know, I will enjoy a cup of coffee, and I am so thankful that you have gifted that to me, because you know I will enjoy it. And then I also have someone else that gifted a cup of coffee, and this is also Angie, a different Angie. And she said, "Hey, I just found your channel and have been crocheting since January. I love how you teach, and I'm going to tackle learning granny squares. Enjoy a cup of joe on me. Cheers." So Angie, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you have learned how to crochet and that you have been on this journey. That is so exciting. And I love that you're going to work on tackling granny squares, because they are the most fun, I think, out of all the crocheting. I do enough of them. I have a lot of granny squares around here, and they are my absolute favorite. I love them, and you can do so much with them. It's so much fun. So when you learn that technique and you tackle it, you'll do so much. So again, thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for supporting this channel by watching, by liking, subscribing. So along with that, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to stick around for more yarn-related content, please hit that subscribe button so that you can stay tuned for the rest of the things that we're doing here at Crochet with Coffee. We have our fun Whip Wednesdays, where we're doing our random picks for a beautiful Persian tile blanket that we're making. So we're doing mystery picks on Wednesdays. And on Fridays, it's a mashup. You never know what you're going to get on Fridays. It's always a crazy event. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you find joy in the little things.